Hi friends, we are going to understand a long writing task, that's a speech writing. Initially, let's understand the meaning of speech. A speech is a formal talk that a person delivers to his audience. It must have the capacity to hold the attention of the audience with a proper choice of words, expressions, and examples. At the same time, care should be taken not to deviate from the main subject. You must keep in mind that it is a speech and you need to begin the draft with addressing the audience, and conclusion should be with a sentence thanking the audience. Dear friends, regarding speech, you have to pay attention towards 2 points. So here with remember those two key points are referred here. The first, who are you writing the speech for? For example, who your audience is. The first point is that you should know very well to whom you are going to address and who are your audience. The second point, what your speech is going to be about, and it's a topic and the main point in order of importance. The second point, that you should know your topic very well and what points you are going to cover in order to pay importance to the topic or to the subject. So you should know very well about the topic, about the subject, and the what points that should be included in your speech. The one more point, that's under the note, it is noted down. It is important to note that the written speech should consist of small sentences having not more than 10 to 12 words in a sentence. So this is very important note to be taken into the consideration. The sentences in the speech should be smaller compared to the writing tasks. Whenever we write article, so there are long sentence, large sentence possible, but when we concern to the speech, there smaller sentences with 10 to 12 words, so uh, those should be drafted. So this is a very important point to be noted down. Moving forward, let me explain you the marking scheme of the question related to the speech. Total, this question will come for 10 marks as a long writing task with the internal choice in the question paper. How the 10 marks are divided, so let me put forward in front of you. First, opening address and conclusion, overall that's a format, 1 mark. Then content, what the point and what views, what opinions are put in the speech, so that will bring you 4 marks. And then expression, 5 marks. That's 5 marks are divided in this way. Grammatical accuracy, appropriate words and spelling, 2.5. And coherence, relevance of ideas and style, 2.5 marks. So total 10 marks are divided into this marking scheme for particular for the question speech. Now let me share you tips or a guideline what care should be taken in the question related to the speech, or what type of the points we have to keep in our mind before drafting a speech for answering the question based on the speech writing. Initially, greet your audience and introduce the topic you are speaking on. So, after paying greetings or expression of the greetings or initial sentences to the audience, addressing to the audience, we have to introduce our subject or topic as a speaker we are speaking on. And then the introduction part of the speech is the most important part. And after getting audience and after introduction of the topic, then we have to turn to the introductory part, the initial sentences related to the subject, related to the topic. So that holds importance. Then it is this part which decides the impact of the speech. It is always said that well begun is half done. So the initial part that throws impact on the audience, so that bring attention of the audience, and that part should be focused with more care and more attention, and care should be taken in this regard, because that brings a good impact in the initial part of the speech. Next, do not give a separate title for the speech. So there's no need to give a separate title for the speech. Keep in mind, as already stated, the occasion of the speech and nature of the audience. We have to keep in our mind that what is the occasion of the speech and the nature of the audience, or what type of the audience. It's a thinking level, then it's a participation, then it's a response, it's a age group. So all these things related to the audience we have to keep in our mind before delivering a speech or before writing a speech. So this thing is very important, that these related things we have to keep in our mind. What is the occasion, and what is the nature of the audience. The introduction should not be very lengthy. So this is one more very important point. The introductory part should not be too lengthy, so it should be relevant, and it should not be boring or tiresome, or it should not be so long, so that audience will detect from a speech. So this care should be taken care. Then use concrete terms and tangible examples. This is a very important one, that we have to use some concrete terms and tangible examples. This should be interesting one, and terms should be understandable. Avoid abstract phrases which are quite vague. So abstract pages should be avoided, and those should be neglected. Those should not be included in the speech. Use simple and familiar language. Language should be simple one, and uh, it should be easy one to the audience, and it should not be so tough and so difficult to the audience. Then conclusion plays a very important role in the success of a speech. The concluding part, so that should be a summarize of the overall the topic and subject. So conclusion, it holds a key role in the success of the speech. So that should be a very important one. It should be a very good one, and the end of the speech should be interesting, and we should cover all the points of the speech. Give your own conclusion on the topic in telling manner. So this is also a very good point, that the presentation should be in a telling manner. We have to include audience. We have to take participation of the audience in delivery of the speech. Give your own conclusion on the topic in the telling manner. So we have to follow our own views and opinions instead of stating others own conclusion on the topic in a telling manner. That holds a very good impact over the audience, that will bring a good effect in the speech. Marking scheme is the same as far as the article. So there's a no any difference in respect to the marking scheme, that as the how the article or how the debate they deal with the marking scheme. In the same way, the marking scheme is applied to the speech writing. And then at last, the concluding part, that's uh, giving thanks, or thanksgiving words or a sentence. So that should be at the end of a speech, and with the words of gratitude, with the words of thanks and or thanksgiving sentence. So that should be at the last, at the final slot of the speech. So these are the some of the tips, these are the some of the guideline. uh, with uh, with the help of these points, so we can draft a very good uh, speech writing, and we can bring a very good effect in the speech writing. Now let's turn towards the very important point, that's the format of a speech writing. In order to write a perfect speech, we must be well acquainted with the topic and must possess a wide range of vocabulary, a thorough knowledge of the subject, and some research and excellent organizational skills. Here is the ideal format and the tips to help you write your perfect speech. A perfect speech must consist of initially, in the beginning, heading. The heading should be catchy and in not more than 5 to 6 words. You can go as creative as you want with this one, just makes sure you do not devote too much time on it in the exam. So instead wasting much time over heading, just you should be more creative with it, and it should be between 5 to 6 words and catchy, and it should be attractive, and the topic and subject should be easily understandable. So instead wasting more time in the exam, we have to come up quickly to the heading, and so that should be noted down. Then the next point, that's opening line. This includes salutations, introduction, and the topic. Make sure you do not mention your personal details, name, school name, etc. For example, respected principal, teachers, and my dear friends. Today, I. So, name given in the question. Usually, in the question paper, name is given. You are Neeraj, like that. So in such case, name should be mentioned there. Today, I stand before you to speak on the topic, and topic will be also given in the question paper. So this you have to take note of this, name and topic already it will present in the question, and the same should be taken here. Only one thing we have to keep in our mind, that we have to avoid, we should not mention our original name or our school original name. So that should not brought in the answer sheet. Whatever given in the question, so that should be noted down. So this a very important point you all should know very well. Then, or you could start with a quote related the topic and then go with the salutation and introduction. The next part, or the next way to begin speech, also with the quote, with a stating a quote related to the topic, to the subject, that with that quotation also we can begin, we can introduce the topic, and then salutation and introduction. So this sequence also can be followed, it will be very effective one. So instead salutation, one can begin with the apt and good right quotation related to the topic, and then salutation and introduction. This is also possible, this is a better way. And then body of the speech writing, it is the main part of writing piece. It is always prescribed that you begin with a short introduction on the topic, and it's a mean to be precise. Then you need to explain the current situation and the problem, and whether after any corrective action betterment in the situation has been observed or not. It may include advantages, disadvantages depending upon the topic in the question. Sometimes uh, any advantages or disadvantages related to the topic or subject, so those can be also covered. Now here it's important you follow a sequence. It is possible that you have too many points or very few points. When you have a lot of varied points, it is better you choose a few best ones and write in a line on each. If you have more ideas, if you have more points, then the better points you have to choose, the best points you have to lined up, and those should be written in a line on each. In case if you have very few already, explain them in at least 2 lines each. And consider if you have less ideas, or consider if you have very less points related to the topic or subject, then explain few ideas with the more words and try to expand those available ideas or those are in your mind. Then you have to strictly follow the prescribed word limit in a limited time frame, to just do not go on writing. This is also a very important point related to the body of the speech, that we should not cross the word limit, prescribed word limit, uh, beyond word limit, so that can harm the marking scheme. So just below word limit we have to we have to draft a speech. So we should not cross the allotted or prescribed word limit. That's 150 to 200 words for 10 marks. The most important, always begin with your strongest point, that we have to begin with a strong point in the speech, the point with which we can explain in a very good way, uh, the point which is strong enough to explain or to take to the audience. With such a point, with a strong point, we have to begin the topic. Now here it's important you to follow a sequence, and then in case there's uh, that's a series of points are there, or series of views are there, or opinions are there, so we have to follow a proper sequence, and the minor points we should not include in the speech. Feel free to give your personal opinion in one or two lines. So we should not feel awkward to deal the personal opinion in a shorter way, and few sentences based on a personal opinion, so those can be also included, those can be also added. It is very important that you do not deviate from the topic. We should not leave the topic throughout our speech. Our concentration should be related to the subject or topic, so we should not deviate from the subject. There are chances you may get ideas linking from one to another that may be deviate from the main point. So the logical sequence should be followed, the ideas should be linked in a proper way, and in no way we should move away from the main topic or the subject. You have to be refrained from doing so. So while drafting a speech, we should not bring the odd ideas or irrelevant to the topic. Such sentences and such ideas should be avoided. And then the next the next point, that's a solution, or the solution or the concluding paragraph. Next, now it is to be remembered that whenever you elaborate a problem, you always have to mention the steps being taken to improvise the situation and suggest a few solutions as well. Usually, the burning issues are given, or the burning points or the topics are given for a speech or debate. In such a situation, we have to come with a solution to the burning points or problems, and some improvising suggestions should be added. A few solutions as well should be mentioned. Now, it would be great if you could add a few quotes relating to the motivating the people to take action throughout the body of the speech. If we insert some of the quotations related to the topic, or related to the situation or the content of the speech, so that should be a welcome step. Here also the rule of strong weak strong applies. So strong weak strong, such a rule can be followed. Very strong points, and then weaker, then little bit other points, and again with the strong points we have to come up, or we can develop a speech. Last but not least, the concluding line, that's thanking the audience for their cooperation and their patience. It is very important to conclude what you have started. Never leave a speech, or for that matter, any of your answer open ended. So, speech should be concluded with the thanksgiving words to the audience for their cooperation and patience. This is very important to conclude that what we have started. Never leave the speech or that matter any of your answer open ended. So this care should be taken uh, related to the speech.